Ring, ring with Renie, Rivas. Hello and welcome to the show. We've got someone very special with us today. Someone you may or may not know. But don't worry, we'll explain all the inside jokes. Just sit back and enjoy the voyeurism, folks. It's Ring, ring with Renie Rivas.
Hey everyone, this episode has less decapitation than the last. Sorry to disappoint. You know what's crazy? I also handled an autopsied body once. Not because I'm qualified, but because my college art teacher brought us into the cadaver lab to draw Boris and pass around his organs like a bowl of grape eyeballs on Halloween. Excuse me, I signed up for life drawing, not death drawing class. You know, it did improve my tolerance for gore, but somehow did nothing to improve my watercolors. Today's guest is my friend Wesley Shane Woods. He's a comedian and retired porn star who remains well known in the gay and trans adult film worlds. Wesley co-hosts the podcast Sexy Funny Raw with Sylvia Sage, available on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. We don't discuss sex very much today, but our conversation might make your heart grow 3 sizes. If another body part follows suit, that's just a bonus.
What's the 411?
Here's some info that'll help eavesdroppers better understand our conversation. The town of Naylandville is about an hour away from Dallas, Texas. Crickets, grasshoppers, locusts, and katydids occupy summers in Texas, producing a loud symphony. However, it's not the silly, old Disney cartoon version. These bugs don't play the drums on acorns or have titties. Joshua Tree in California is a desert landscape that has almost doubled in popularity for hikers and campers in the last 5 years. Cracker Barrel restaurants serve breakfast all day, but it's not sad, like Denny's. If you've never experienced performing stand-up comedy without getting any laughs, great, man. Good for you. I was gonna come up with a metaphor, but I'm too caught up in jealousy. 72 nations criminalize non-heteronormative sex, and only about 30 countries allow gay marriage on a national level. I thought about this after episode 3 featuring my friend Misha D. I tagged the words gay, queer, and LGBT in our episode description. I noticed that one of our listeners downloaded that episode from Kuwait, which is one of those nations. I mean this sincerely. If you are from a place that has made it illegal to live your truth and you're listening now, I recognize you and I respect you.
Hey Tex, how's it going? How's that patio treating you?
So far, so good. I mean, it's a little humid. You know, it's almost 8 o'clock, and it's still pretty close to 100 degrees.
Yuck.
I know, it's not fun. I'm actually sweating. I got my little fisherman's hat on. But you know what? It could be worse. I could not have this whiskey in my hand right now. How are you?
I'm okay.
Life is good.
Are there bugs out there?
I haven't had any bites yet, so let's not try and, jinx it. But I'm sure there's bugs going to be floating around sooner than later.
Yeah, don't tempt them.
It might be too hot. Who knows?
Even they've pieced out. I'll see you by the swamp.
I'm trying not to be too loud, too, because I was going to be out at the ranch at my mom and my stepdad's where I grew up, but I decided because my service isn't so great, I would go to my biological dad's house, which is in the city, if you can call it that. And there's some children out back playing.
Are you related to them? I know you have nephews and nieces.
I am not related to these, no, but I do have officially 5 nephews and 1 niece.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm like Uncle Bubba is what I'm known as, and it has been an experience. But I will tell you this, I definitely do not want to have children of my own, that's for sure. It's just too much.
Just a part-time thing.
I'm more like part-time. Like good 3 hours, and then Uncle Bubba needs to take a nap.
Like a work break.
Yeah, just a long, day and a half break.
It's like your sick hours.
Oh, my God. There is a mouse right there beside me. I'm terrified of, rodents. They're so gross. Oh, my God, it just ran into the bushes. Oh, my God, I'm going to freak out.
What?
This is me being a country boy freaking out by the little mouse.
Have you always been like that with rodents, or did you grow up having to kill things and...
I have never, I've never can you hear the little locusts and stuff starting to chatter in the background?
Yeah, I didn't think you were watching TV. It's kind of like TV static, but organic.
Oh my God, it's definitely organic. We're definitely all natural here.
Yes.
I've never really have been a fan of mice or rats or possums, like armadillo. They're just, I don't know, they're dirty. They're like, I don't know, they only come out at night. And I don't know, There's something really sketchy about them.
They're intruders no matter what species they are.
Yeah, I mean, hell, who knows? Maybe their ancestors were here before us, too.
Uh-oh, it's indigenous land.
I mean, basically, I should just be apologizing to them because I'm infringing on their rights.
Well, it's not controversial.
I can't talk now. If I did, I would tell them I'm sorry. Just please go the other way until I leave. Because I'm scared. I'm trying to, run in place, as I'm sitting down in this chair so they hear my feet over here.
Oh, yikes. Are you out there visiting family?
Yeah, I'm really close to my family, and I see my family every 4 to 6 weeks, and so I haven't actually seen them in 8, almost 9 months now, and I just couldn't take it anymore. I was breaking a little bit. I was kind of watching my nephews grow up these past 8 or 9 months on FaceTime. It was breaking my heart because I'm so close to my youngest brother, who has the 2 nephews that I'm extremely close to, just because my younger brother has a house that sits at the front of my parents' property on the ranch, so he essentially has never moved the property. Yeah. And I can't imagine a life like that. We grew up in a town of only 97 people, so it's extremely small, and he has never left the ranch. And it's so fascinating now because his kids are growing up where we grew up. And it's cute, and it's also kind of eerie at going back home and watching these kids run around and do what I'm sure we were running around doing and looking like. It's just a little weird.
Wow, it's like little duplex.
A little duplex is right. Well, my brother has a house that sits at the front of my parents' property, and then my older brother built a little, small home to the west of the property, and I have been trying to save up to build a home on the south end back in the woods of the property, just so I have my own little space whenever I go home, and I don't have to actually go and sleep in the bed that I did when I was in high school.
Little compound on the prairie.
It is. Oh my gosh, compound on the prairie. That needs to be something that I work on creating. That sounds genius.
It must be wonderful to have somewhere to truly get away from the city. It doesn't get more isolated and welcoming at the same time, right?
Well, it is very welcoming if you are not going in town and around, Trump supporters, because let's be honest, the further out you get, the more bigoted people seem to become.
I see.
Luckily, it is very isolated. My family is very progressive, obviously. I am officially a retired porn star, and, so they still are A-okay with it. My mom helped pick my porn name, for goodness sake.
That's a good mom.
It's a good mom.
Good mama.
I don't know if everyone would agree with that. Yeah, I do love it, though. I never really thought I'd ever live in L.A. It was never a goal of mine. I just have always enjoyed, being a host and making people laugh. I like pushing the boundaries. So I guess I was destined to be part of the big city in the entertainment world in some capacity. But I do absolutely love getting to leave the city and just sitting outside in the middle of nowhere. It's very different. LA, you can go hike somewhere and there's tons of outdoor space, but there's still people everywhere. Yeah. And here, I can literally just sit there and ain't nobody around.
You got to go pay for that experience in LA. People pay money to be alone.
So true.
At a meditation resort.
So true. That or having to try and sneak out to Joshua Tree or somewhere, and even now that's becoming populated too.
Getting away from superficiality has become super trendy, making it superficial.
It's all the latest rate. Have you tried it?
Yeah. Wesley, I'm so curious if your mom suggested any other names.
I don't remember exactly how the conversation came about with us picking names, but I do remember driving in her car. I was in the passenger seat, and we were just driving through my hometown, and the city where the ranch is called Greenville, Texas. And in Greenville, honey, I'll have to get back to remind me
I will.
about George W. Bush in Greenville, Texas, please, okay? Junior. So, yeah, we were driving, and the main street in town is called Wesley Street. That's where all the fast food restaurants are. That's where the gas stations are. Like, if you need something from town, you're going down Wesley Street, okay?
Is there a Cracker Barrel?
There's a Cracker Barrel right off Wesley Street.
Oh, I'm there. I want to go.
I love me some Cracker Barrel, baby. You give me those biscuits, those gravy. I'll even get the chicken and dumplings. Oh, my God. I love Cracker Barrel. And so we're driving down, and when I was a younger kid, one of my friends was named Weston, and I always thought that was a cool name. Weston Wood, I thought was his name. I thought that was such a cool name. And
it sounds like a college.
Right. It sounds like a premier college or like a uppity, some sort of like elementary school education that I definitely didn't get.
Yeah, prep school academy.
Yeah, literally. And so as we're passing Wesley Street, I'm just like, oh, well, what about Wesley? Wesley, like, Wood. And my mom's like, well, doesn't that sound like your friend's name Weston Wood? And I was like, well, I mean, it's kind of inspired, but it's also kind of like my hometown, like Wesley Street, the woods, the country. And my mom at the time was like, well, I kind of actually like it. And, you know, if you're going to do this, it's kind of sweet and a little like nostalgia, hometown and homegrown. And she enjoyed Wesley Woods. She liked the ring to it, I guess, the sound of it. And so without missing a beat, she's like, well, you know, you need to Google that name real quick and make sure there's not another star by that name. Right. As you do. She's a good mom. So I was like, okay, so I Googled Wesley Wood. And I'm not joking. There is a church camp in Tennessee by the name of Wesley Wood.
Yes.
I know, a church camp in Tennessee. When I told my mom that, she said, honey, that is a sign from God. You need to use that name.
I'll take it. Take it from God or whoever.
Whoever. I'm like, hey, my mom thinks that God is in on this name choosing, so be it. Whatever.
God bless.
Better.
I love it. I love that your mom was concerned about you having the rights to that name. She was hoping you get that landing page. You know,
I know.
Mark that page before anything.
Exactly. I would just really love to have, like, when you Google Wesley Woods and search images, I would just love for there to be an image of people in a prayer circle and me underneath a circle jerk.
Beautiful.
That to me is beautiful. But back to Greenville, Texas, I don't know why I felt compelled to tell you this, but back when George W. Bush Jr., you know, was the governor of Texas, he had a lot of racial issues growing up, and there was like the KKK and some churches were getting burned down, and it was really kind of chaos.
Shit, during your lifetime?
Yeah, I was probably about 8, maybe 10. And I know. And so George W. Bush came out and gave a speech, and I'll never forget. He said, y'all, we're not black, we're not white, we're all green for Greenville.
I don't see color, but I do see green.
Oh, my God.
I
can remember being a kid then and just being like, is he for real? To this day, I will never forget that. How have you been holding up, though? How are you? How's everything?
I'm kind of losing my mind a little bit. I got obsessed with fish tanks. I mean,
what?
I got obsessed with fish tanks.
Okay.
Look, the stereotype is that you get a cat if you're a single woman and you're sad. I'm going to step it up and get sadder and start accumulating fish tanks, man.
Fish in or just fish tanks? You got 3, right? But do you have fish in them?
One tank is empty because it's just a level of depression I'm not willing to admit to yet. It's 20 gallons, and if I start that one up again, I've given myself a full-time job. I'm unemployed.
Would you like it to stay that way? Maybe when you're dealing with fish, no?
I want somebody to put their hand on my shoulder, metaphorically, and go, you know, you've had enough. I think we're going to cut you off tonight. I think we need to talk.
That's so funny. I grew up with fish tanks, but I was 3, and my mom was pregnant, about to have my younger brother, and I got pissed because she wouldn't go outside and play baseball with me, so I took my baseball bat and I beat the fish tank.
Well, you were 3.
It shattered. You know, the fish in the water went all over the living room, and I've never been allowed to have a fish tank since.
Wesley, I almost killed my brother when I was 4 when I threw the cat on him as a baby. Fish tank, not so bad. I don't think it's so bad if you were 3.
I mean, but don't all siblings kind of like torment their other siblings in some sort of way or fashion? Like sibling rivalry is a very real thing. No?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not working through any traumas.
You got it out already.
Me and my brothers would like literally fist fight, chase each other with knives. I mean, we were wild. I don't know how any of us survived.
Oh.
My poor parents, 3 country-ass kids just in the middle of nowhere with no help.
Man. Do you have a stepdad?
I do. I'm going to go inside. The sprinklers are coming on. I don't want it to sound crazy for you. My mom, let me weasel in just a moment. I hate to do this.
No worries.
My mom, oh goodness, now we got the Texas Rangers baseball game playing in the background. Let me walk around.
I need the score.
Oh, well, the Texas Rangers aren't very good, and Colorado Rockies are winning. Yeah, so I do. I have a stepdad who really is like my father, I mean, it confuses people who know me because I always talk about my dad.
Yeah.
And it's my stepdad, but it's also like, I'm a weird bird. You have to get to know me, and then once you kind of know me, I just assume that you know what's going on in my head. Like when I refer to my stepdad as my dad, you should know that I'm talking about my stepdad, even though I just said dad.
Yeah, when we talk about that, it shouldn't be questioned if you're choosing to tell me about your dad. I don't care what sperm was involved. You're telling me about your dad, I'm going to take that as whoever is that role model for you.
Yeah, it's definitely my stepdad. My stepdad and my mom have been married now. I'm 34. They've been married 26 or 27 years now.
What?
And, yeah, I mean, I don't really remember a whole lot of my life without my stepdad, I was, 7, 8 whenever they were married, and they've been dating since I was 5 or 6, so.
Yeah. Oh, that's your lifetime.
Yeah, that's my lifetime, right? But I'm really close to him. I'm also really close to my biological dad as well. My biological dad is single, so if there's any out there looking for, a man with a good time, I'm going to pimp my dad out, whore him out a little bit. He's a good-looking, middle-aged, 55-year-old man.
Oh, shit. That's bait for me. He likes to touch the Rangers. I don't know.
Who are you cheering for? Do you have a baseball team? Do you watch baseball?
I'm kidding. I have no idea what anything about.
I'm like, this is news to me, but I'm interested.
I don't know anything about baseball except I had to learn a couple of things because I was in a play and I played a character who was obsessed with baseball. I only learned the bare minimum. There's a ball.
That is literally one of the most LA entertainment things I've ever heard. I know nothing about baseball, but I was in a play and I had to know some. How many people would ever be able to say that?
Right. They have to get the pennant. Whatever the pennant is, they have to get it.
I don't even know what the pennant is, so you're doing well.
What are you doing out there while you're with your family? What do you get up to?
What am I doing while I'm out here? Well, I'm sitting.
Sounds good. Sounds really nice.
I'm making sure that I'm not out in the heat because it's like 104 and humidity and it's horrible. But I'm just, I'm a lover, and especially when it comes to my family, I just want to be around them. So I'm just taking some time and hanging out with everybody and getting some hugs and laughs in. And, yeah, nothing major. I'm a true Gemini. Like, I have 2 extreme sides to who I am. One of them is very much this small town family guy, and the other one's, your friendly neighborhood hoe.
It's all love, though.
It's all love. It's all love.
Like,
I just want everyone to just feel comfortable and happy and just have a good time around me. That's all it is.
Yeah, I think like love energy and sex energy are so similar. You just have a love
for sure
all around. It just kind of exudes around you, however it manifests.
And, I have to give credit to my family. Without my parents, my family, my support, and I'm lucky. I don't know a lot of white families, especially in this era, who are actually close to aunts, uncles, cousins. You know what I mean? And this is just my perspective and my thoughts on it. As a white man who has white friends, I don't know anyone that really has that bond with a lot of their family and family members. And my family's very, very close. And ever since I was a little kid, any birthday or any event, I just had to make sure that everyone in the family had to be there. That was my thing, and everyone laughed about it. That was always my thing. I just loved these people and just knew, I guess maybe at an early age, how lucky I was to have so many people around me that cared about me and loved me. And it's because of them that I'm able to express myself the way that I do, honestly. They gave me the okay to be me.
Yeah.
My mama signed off on the idea of like, hey, if you're going to do porn, just make sure it's something you want to do. There's not a whole lot that's coming back from that once you do, but like, I'm going to love and support you, and this is your life and your choices. Like, once mom said that to me, I quit giving a shit about.
I love it.
And really, it's not necessarily even people. Like, of course, you have people who talk about you behind your back and blah, 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 but at the end of the day, there's not a whole lot of people that really care because everyone's worried about themselves. So it was very freeing to just have that love and support and really step out and kind of make this life that I have, which I feel like is so weird at times. I'm like, what is going on? I mean, I have this one guy who sends me $50 every morning just to like, I know, it's so weird. Every morning I wake up and there's $50, a brand new $50 in my PayPal account. And I'm like, this is so odd. But all he wants is, me to chit-chat a little bit. He doesn't even live in the States. He lives over in Europe, and he just wants, I think, the companionship. And I'm like, where has my life gone that I can literally just check in with someone, say, hi, how are you doing? And someone wants to give me $50. Like, what?
We have no idea how much you mean to that man.
Exactly, yeah.
You could be such an important part of his life right now. We don't know what he's going through and how much joy your conversation brings him. That's wonderful.
It's so true. And, and I've told people that even before COVID. I always told people, like, it's easy to look down on sex workers because we've been taught to be ashamed of our own sex and sexuality, let alone someone being comfortable enough to put it out there like that, right? But I always tell people, you never know what someone's going through. There's people who, take some of my gay fans, for example. They may live in places where they can't be gay. They may live in places where they don't know any other gay people. They may physically not be able to feel comfortable enough to approach other gay men. Like, their sexuality is from what they're able to view.
This might be all they have.
Exactly.
If they're closeted, if they're in a place that's unsafe to meet men, if they're a man, who knows? One time I was in I think it was a Persian restaurant, and I saw a man by himself looking at his phone, and I copped a look at his phone, and he was looking at sexy images. And I remember thinking, what if that is all he has? What if that's the only access to gay sexual content?
Yeah. And, a lot of people don't take the time to even consider that, let alone, like, reflect on it, I mean, it's sad. I feel very fortunate. I mean, I know I'm a very, very lucky individual. And because I recognize that and truly believe it, I try everything in my power to live my life as loud as possible because I do feel like I've been given privileges and opportunities to be louder, but I want it to be louder so everyone else is invited in, not because it's about me. That's my one big difference. In the industry, sometimes it can be very self-centered, and that's not just pornography, it's entertainment in general.
There's so much narcissism. It's rare to find somebody so down to earth.
Girl, I'm over here showing my body for someone else, honey, not for me. If I wanted to go look at my body, I'd go to a mirror. I'm doing it to let others enjoy it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all in good fun. None of us have the answers, and that's what I've kind of come to the conclusion with a long time ago. And all you can do is really just try to live your best, make yourself happy, and as you're making yourself happy, be aware that if what you're doing to create your happiness is causing harm to others, reevaluate how you can do it to bring more in, and if it's not, then keep running and don't look up.
Yeah, that's a really nice way to say that. How is your mood? Do you feel a little lighter being around your family? You were so isolated.
I do feel a lot lighter, but in some weird ways, like, this is a secret that not many people know, but I actually have really bad, extreme social anxiety, which most people be like, what, you? No. And I'm like, yeah, really. Like, it's easy for me, especially with pornography, whenever you're on set, to be like, action. Or, for example, like, you are stepping into a voice or a character you got to do. Like, it's easy to tap into it when you're told to.
It's a performance.
Exactly. Me performing and doing that is literally just that. Like, I'm stepped into it, I'm told, and I go, and then once I'm done, and I walk away. And I haven't really navigated my career in the industry as well as I thought I would, as far as emotionally. I feel like I wasn't prepared for the following, for just kind of sometimes the rock star lifestyle that it can create. For 4 years, I was just traveling by myself. I had literally created a fake persona, not a fake persona. I mean, I've created a persona.
But you put it on.
It's not me, exactly. And so when you're constantly, I was working, a lot. And every 4 to 5 days, I was in a different city, whether that was doing a club appearance or doing a gay pride event or actually filming or getting on a plane to go somewhere or like having to get tested, I was constantly showing up as this thing that I had created, which was an extension of me. But being the Gemini that I am, I feel like in some ways it was really starting to create a problem of me like disassociating Shane, who, what is my birth name, from Wesley, which is my stage name. It was in some ways very unhealthy because the people that knew Shane didn't really know what was going on in Wesley's world. I mean, they knew to a certain extent, right? Like, I'd call and check in with my mom all the time, but there was no one really keeping up with me. Where are you at? What are you doing? Have you been, I don't know, taking care of yourself? Most of the time it was like, no, honey, I'm trying to get drunk before I go and see these. You know, like when you're having to be the life of the party, it's sometimes taxing on you, mentally, physically, emotionally.
Yeah, you're betraying some of your truth if you never let the regular part of you relax.
It's true, and that's why, you know, I do need to come home sometimes because it's healthy for me. I get outside of the city. I get outside of the fast-paced world, I guess you could say, and like I'm able to just kind of get back into like sitting. The past year, for sure, since I left the industry, that's all my focus has been on is getting comfortable with me being uncomfortable being alone.
Right.
Really just sit in it. And oddly, my last year of doing studio work in the porn industry, I called my mom almost daily in tears and was like,
oh, yeah?
I've got to figure a way out of this just because I feel unhappy, but I don't know how I'm going to make the money that I am. I don't know how I'm going to survive if I do. Like, what does this transition look like, right? And I didn't know. And stepping out and getting out of it and taking a breath to relearn myself in some ways has been really beneficial. You know, pornography released me from a lot of my insecurities, but it also really made me look at myself differently too.
Have you discovered anything new now that you've been settled into stillness? And
yeah, I think the stillness has allowed me to love myself and to recognize that I'm a fun guy. I'm a good guy. I'm worthy of love. I think that's another thing that I always struggled with is like the ability to accept praise and love. And as much as I was trying to put that out into the world, I'm horrible at receiving it. And so not doing anything and, you know, sitting around has been somewhat good for me, but still am very much a part of the industry. And so that's been great because I'm still a part of it, but I get to be behind the scenes and I don't have to
I like that.
Show up, shake hands, and kiss babies. When I say babies, I mean the white ones that are on your face.
They're really premature.
Really preemie. Really. But I've had a couple of drinks and some marijuana. I was going to say, what, you're only getting, 13 chromosomes from the white stuff, right? And another 13 to 23? I don't fucking know. Don't quote me.
I'm not judging gene knowledge here. Unless the guy's name is Gene or we're talking about your Levi's.
I love talking to you. And I remember meeting you. I was like, this girl is amazing, hilarious, talented. I didn't even know you did voiceover work until I started really following you and getting into it. I really enjoyed watching. And, I was actually thinking today, I was like, oh, my God. People are always trying to, especially porn, because we are looked down upon, porn stars and sex workers, oh, you shouldn't have an opinion about this. You should just do that. And I'm like, well, that's no fun. I mean, can you imagine only having one voice that you could ever do? Like, what's the fun in that?
Yeah, dynamic, creative creatures. Everybody is capable of doing other things.
And we should let them do other things.
Yeah, I like seeing you do stand-up.
Oh, well, I miss doing stages, don't you?
Now I do. You used to have to pull me out to make me go perform live.
I didn't know that, really? You seem so natural and fun up on stage. You just have such a good energy about you, though, where you're just, I don't know, you just have this thing. I guess they call it, right? You have it.
Thank you, but it's I'm kicking and screaming to get myself out and do it. It's a very sick process.
It is. Well, when I first got into stand-up, I thought, oh, you're just going to go to a couple of, mics, and everyone's just going to love you, and before you know it, you'll have your hour, Showtime special, and that is not how it works. No. I'm like, no one likes you, and no one thinks you're funny. It's usually what I'm saying in my head as I'm trying to get people to laugh.
Oh, yeah, it's rough.
Inner saboteur. I mean, I can remember once I was in Las Vegas performing at an SLS hotel, and it was my first feature for like a bonkers night at one of these clubs, and I was like really trying to be like a new little feature, you know, for the bonkers comedy scene, and girl, they were not loving my joke. I can remember telling a joke, and literally as I'm telling a joke, in my head, I'm telling myself like, someone is yelling at me, which they weren't, but in my head they were, like, tell us a joke already.
Oh, man.
It's that your mind can literally be talking and carrying on a conversation and then also telling you that you're not good enough.
Do you miss it? Do you want to do more comedy?
I do. You know, I don't know what that looks like. And I've allowed myself these past few months to start writing more. I want to be doing some entertainment world. I don't know if that's stand-up. Maybe it's a one-man show. Maybe it's a scripted something. Maybe it's a memoir of types. But I definitely want to do more with my knowledge and experience in the porn world.
God, yeah.
I think there's a lot of funny there, right? Yeah.
The stories? I would love to just sit by the fire and have Uncle Wesley tell me some stories.
Oh, Uncle Bubba.
Bubba. Oh, yeah, you said that before. Is that what they call you?
Uncle Bubba. Isn't that hilarious that their Uncle Bubba is going to be this flaming faggot?
Where did Uncle Bubba come from?
Bubba. No, it's so funny because it's such a redneck term, but when you think of it, you think of, you know, maybe like a beer belly, cut-off flannel shirt, and MAGA hat.
I doubt your mom came up with that one.
No, so like my younger brother, when we were growing up, could never say brother. And I know, it's so cute. And so he just started calling me Bubba, Bubba, Bubba. And so it just kind of stuck, and I became Bubba, and then before long, I was Uncle Bubba. It's so weird.
It just went right back to redneck somehow.
Well, and now here I am trying to grow out a mullet. You know, if I'm going to be an Uncle Bubba, I want to look like it, too.
But you would look cute with a mullet.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, it's kind of fun, too, because it's kind of a way of, like, taking something that has been typically so hetero and trashy and turning it into something queer, fun, and fabulous. And I love that. I know that I'm a white man and pretty typical, and I don't know, fuck it, I'm going to lean into it, and I'm going to infiltrate. You know, I have people say stupid shit to me all the time, especially when I'm here in Texas. Like, I don't know what it is with people coming up to me wanting to talk about racist remarks, but a mullet is definitely going to help me infiltrate a little bit more and really break it down.
Good.
So weird. They think they're safe with me, and I'm like, but you're not. I'm not on your team.
You're covert Bubba.
I am.
I'm sure you've had to deal with some homophobia going out.
Absolutely. And, you know, I've actually gone to jail probably 6 times.
Oh, what happened?
Yeah, I grew up just fighting. I don't know. I just always grew up having to fight for my space to exist. I mean, quite literally sometimes, you know. I grew up in a real small town, and then I went to college at the University of Oklahoma. And I don't know if you know anything about Oklahoma, but it's not a blue state by any means. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just weird. And I can remember specifically, like, getting into a lot of bar fights. And, you know, it was... Yeah, so I try to not be that person anymore, and I know that there has been some work that has needed to be done because I just typically get very defensive.
But you've been pushed so much, you know, how much can you handle?
Yeah.
It's going to come out somehow, and it manifested in aggression, right?
It totally did, you're absolutely right, and, you know, I'm not a small guy by any means, so, and, you know, my older brother plays football in the NFL. He plays for the Patriots, the Dallas Cowboys, and the Kansas City Chiefs, and so I know, so growing up with an older... He's hot. He's, you know, 6'4", blonde hair, blue eyes. I think everyone in my family is good looking and hot.
You can all pull off a mullet, okay? All of you.
But, you know, growing up with him, I mean, he wasn't an NFL football player when we were growing up as kids, but he had that mentality, obviously, to, like, be crazy enough to make it there. And, like, God, I learned how to defend myself at a very young age against him. So, you know, when I'm in college and I have a stranger coming up to me trying to cause problems or terrify me or hurt me, like, yeah, I didn't hold back.
Yeah,
that was a different time, and, you know, nowadays I like to tell them to go love themselves and walk away.
Yeah.
The best you can do. Go love yourself.
Lord.
Do you have some fun little nicknames? Do you have nieces and nephews? Are you like an auntie something?
No.
No?
Nothing cute. Nothing.
Nothing. Well, I got enough for both of us, and let me tell you.
Make up for it.
Let me
Come
tell
up with
you,
a name.
I'm going to come up with a name for the next time I see you. It's going to be something cute and flirty.
Ooh, I can't wait. A lot of things rhyme with Renie. That's a good starting point.
I started drinking some of this Evan Williams Outdoorsman Edition Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Honey, what in the fuck am I drinking? Oh, honey. I don't know why I felt the need to tell you that, but I was just looking at it.
I think I need to get a nickname from you while you're drinking that. That's the only way.
Oh, honey, give me another 10 minutes, and I'm going to text you and let you know what your nickname is.
I can't wait.
This is definitely some cheap whiskey. Outdoorsman Edition. I mean, what?
Oh, man, that's like Southern discomfort.
They have antlers on their logo.
The logo?
I mean, they got antlers.
Antlers. Yeah, give me the antler one.
Can I get the antlers? Yeah. It's horrible. And the Coke isn't helping. Not the cocaine, the Coca-Cola.
Okay. It's like, you're too chill right now to be on Coke. I don't believe it.
Yeah, you know. My mind's crazy. I can barely keep up. I'm telling you, I'm a Gemini. There's two people that live inside this body. I don't know which one you're talking to right now, but again, it changes constantly. That's the hard part about dating, though. It's not my profession. It's about being a Gemini.
Yeah, too much conflict with yourself.
Too much conflict.
Well, what is it that you run into? What is it that you feel is attributed to that Gemini-ness getting in the way?
I think, too, it's a lot of, like, where I grew up. Like, I love where I grew up and being a young boy and gay and knowing that you were different. And I can remember standing out in my parents' pasture looking to the stars and being like, why the fuck am I here? There's nothing for me here.
Oh, I see.
You know, and so I think I just inherently had an itch to go see what the world was and to be an explorer. But as much as I love doing that, you know, I come home, like I said, used to every 4 to 6 weeks, and there's still a piece of, I guess, simplicity that lives within me. I'm overall just very curious as a person and want to see, want to do, want to touch, want to smell, want to hear people's perspectives, stories. Like, and you can't really do that in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and you can't date somebody that's possessive.
No, I tend to be the possessive one.
Oh, really? But you can go on trips. You don't have to stay home all the time.
Exactly. But, you know, I'm that type of person. Like, if I'm going on a trip because I'm so possessive, I'm like, I want you to come along with me.
Okay, well, that's sharing.
See, that's what I say. One of my ex-boyfriends was like, you're just trying to do it so I'm not here alone. And I'm like, well, when you say it like that, why do you want to be alone so bad? Like, what? I'm taking you on a trip with me.
We've got to frame this differently.
Yeah.
You're on a vacation.
We're on a vacation, damn it. I just want you next to me, damn it. And yeah, maybe I am a little concerned of what you're doing when I'm not in town. And obviously, by the way you're saying it and pitching it to me, I should be.
Uh-oh. It's all hard.
It's all hard and always hard, I promise.
When are you coming back?
I have another 4.5 days here. I've been here for 3. I have another 4. And I now realize that, 5 days is my limit.
What sets you off? What draws the line?
It starts to become too still. Maybe I'm just never happy. When I'm in LA, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get out to the country. And then when I'm in the country, I'm like, why the fuck am I out here? I can't wait to get back to the city.
I think what you described sounds pretty normal, but...
Okay, good. I mean, normal is never our goal, right?
Well, we don't want that either, I guess.
Exactly.
Oh, no, normal.
I love catching up. I have a special place in my heart for you if I've not told you that. So.
Oh, Wesley, you're so nice.
You're so nice.
You're so nice.
And it's so hard to find the good ones.
Oh, you're so sweet. Go tell everybody, because this unemployment ride is not that fun anymore.
Oh, well, honey, I don't know how pretty your feet are, but I can make you a foot model.
You're onto something.
I'm telling you, my feet make me a lot of money.
Mine are horrible, so you have to find that genre where they want the hooves. Like bad.
You can start hashtagging yourself the hoof hoe. I love you.
I'm going to start working on my marketing pitch for the hoof hoe.
You should. Oh, my God. Again, I'm inspired by the Outdoors Edition Antler whiskey over here. So you could have a really cool, like, hoe with a hoof print.
You've got business sense, man. I love it.
If you ain't got this, it don't make dollars.
I want to have like a doll where I pull a string and you just share those pearls of down-home wisdom.
Oh my God. I just need to have a book of that. That's what I should do. I mean, I enjoy doing that more than I do like putting a dick in my mouth for $1. I love you. I hope you have a great night.
You too, Wesley.
All right. Love you.
See you sometime.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Today's episode was brought to you by Really Premature Babies, Southern Discomfort, and Hooves. Please stay on the line for our next episode with Morgan Klein.